Welcome back to TechNet Radio. Shahrouz Malekpour from Ezy Consulting joins us for this episode of Cloud Innovators as we discuss how his firm can help businesses determine the overall value and return on their investment if and when they deploy Office 365. Tune in and find out how you can determine your ROI by moving to the cloud with the help of Ezy Consulting. Kevin, the mic is yours.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another in our series of interviews for IT pros and IT managers on TechNet Radio that we're calling Cloud Innovators. My name's Kevin Remdy, and I'm a senior IT pro evangelist with Microsoft on the U.S. Developer and Platform Evangelism team, and I'm your Cloud Innovators host. Today's discussion, we're going to talk about an innovative solution that one Microsoft partner has come up with for helping their customers determine the value of the cloud in making their productivity software decisions. With me and representing their solution and his company today, we have Shahrouz Malekpour, CEO of Ezy Consulting Incorporated. Let me do a quick introduction, but greetings.
Hi, Kevin.
Shahrouz,
how are you?
Appreciate you being here. Yeah. Mr. Malekpour has spent the last decade building Ezy Consulting from the ground up. During that time, he became adept at working with small businesses and implementing creative solutions that improve their operational efficiency. He leads a diverse group of technicians, engineers, developers, architects, and other specialists in some very demanding projects. Mr. Malekpour has over 30 years of IT channel experience, 10 years at Microsoft, and founded Ezy Consulting in 2006. They currently have locations in Seattle, Los Angeles, and New York. Shahrouz enjoys snow skiing, cooking, and dirty martinis. So we do have something else in common.
Yeah.
Shahrouz, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you guys. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. Very glad to talk to you today because I really appreciate the innovation that comes along with regard to helping customers understand where business value can be found. And, so we rely, Microsoft would love to be able to do more of that, certainly, but we rely on partners like you to help add value and then help really kind of drive the story at the ground level and for the businesses that are considering our solutions. And you are working with customers that have specific or even, particular problems that they're trying to solve. What sorts of problems are those?
Well, one thing is that we start, noticing that a lot of customers hear a lot about, cloud, and there's so much marketing about, cloud. So there's a lot of different misunderstanding about what it can do for them. Most small businesses really understand that, it's a huge investment if they need to buy the hardware, the software, the technical support. So one of the things we can begin to see that there's a lot of interest, but there's also a lot of misunderstanding. And what we try to do is help them both to understand the benefits, the value that it offers, which is substantial, but also how to get started, and more importantly, what are the first steps. And that's really one of our main focus to help them through that process.
Okay, and I understand one of the solutions that you're helping customers understand where they can find value is the Office 365 suite in the cloud. Is that right?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Office 365 has been a great addition not only to the Microsoft family, but I think it's a great offering for a lot of our customers. And one of the things that we began to see in the marketplace is that, of course, everybody needs a great solution around messaging. And most companies, especially small to medium-sized companies, either they have a very unstable infrastructure or they may have a lot of mixture of different legacy to other environments. And what Office 365 does is really brings a more consistent platform throughout the organization, give them access to a very, solid technology that most often small companies couldn't afford to get, but also allows that Microsoft to really provide all those services and support and give them that service level agreements that they really deserve. So even they might be a small business, they actually can get a service like a large corporation, and that's a huge value.
And that's one, I agree. That's one big reason why a lot of customers are looking to Office 365. Can you think of any others that, in terms of the value or the productivity, those sorts of things that you're helping your customers take advantage of?
Yeah, matter of fact, a couple of things that we've seen from clients is that, most often once they start realizing how rich Office 365 is, not only offering them messaging platform, but collaboration, give them ability to have a very, technology-rich from a unified communication, they're quickly realize that they can get started with the basics, but then quickly add the other elements to now they can be very proficient and productive environment. Matter of fact, probably some of the customers that we actually help them to deploy the technology, the first thing we've noticed is that their users are a lot more efficient. Second is how easy it is to roll this out and make sure they become productive from day one. And third, most importantly, they start thinking creatively how they can actually take it to the next level within their organization, which is really, really sweet to see because they get started from one aspect before we realize that they have all the other side projects and other things you want to build. And it's a powerful engine. You can get started really easily, but they will expand into very, very complex environments.
Very good, very good. Now, I'd like you to describe your solution, and if you could even just show us a little bit about what you're doing for your customers. We'll take a look at some examples of what you're doing there.
Yeah, I mean, our solution at a high level is, well, when we start having conversation with customers, we realize that most often, they were asking a lot of different questions, was really technical, but what we try to do is gear them more from a business side. So trying to understand what are the gaps, what are the specific workloads that really need to be moved toward a cloud environment. So our tools allows us to, one, ask in a consistent way, what are the core business issues they're having within their organization. Second thing we try to do is figure out what is the current investment they have made in their current environment. And third, really show the benefit from a financial but also from a feasibility. So our tool, it does really three things. One, it provides them a 5-year ROI calculation, so what it looks like from a current on-premise while moving toward a cloud environment. Number two, what it does is that it kind of defines what are the hidden gaps they may have in their organization, how they need to address it. And probably the most important thing is that we, discover for them how they can do this in a phased approach, looking at the work and loads that is really important for them. So from a messaging to maybe collaboration, or more importantly from HR to other elements. So our tools allows them to put a really nice plan in play and also address the gaps they may have. So eventually throughout the 1 or 2 years, they can address everything.
Sounds great. So, do you mind giving us a sneak peek at your tool, giving us a quick walkthrough?
Of course, I'd love to. So, Kevin, let me actually walk you through one of the scenarios. So, with our tool, as you notice, what we do is we capture the basic profile of the customer's environment. So, not only want to find out how many users they have in their organizations, but also understand of those users how many are using it for specific activities, whether it's using it for instant messaging, for emails, for a collaboration. So in this case, with our tool, we're capturing how many employees do they have, to how they're using it, number of emails, SharePoint, conferencing for unified communication, and if they're using any sort of CRM applications. But also what we want to do is figure out in their current environment, how many physical servers do they have and how many virtual servers. Now this kind of allows us in a quick way show a both current cost might be on an on-premise environment versus a moving toward Office 365. Now most often, most of our clients, we need to do a deep drill down analysis. So when I come to this view, it allows us to bring back the previous information that we've already input to the system, but now we can actually go into a bit more detail. So this is really asking a client to let us know how much investment they have actually made, so we can capture how many servers do they have, how much did they pay for the servers, and also figure out what's their storage cost. And then really start looking into, when you look at any organization, there are certain costs that they're being paid by their financial teams. So how many resources do they have in their organization that provides any sort of IT support, help desk support, system engineers, and estimating what the salary could be. And then looking into that, if any company actually has certain servers, that means that they have a facility or there's costs associated. So we're capturing all the utility costs, all the investment they're making around facility, and also look at the data center. Now, this is truly building a picture for what the on-premise investments is. Then on the right-hand side, we're going to start capturing what it would be on as they migrate toward Office 365. Obviously, they don't need as many servers, which basically means now they can consolidate or they don't necessarily carry the same cost. Then you start looking at the same IT staff, but you don't need as many people to support that. That doesn't mean that that company doesn't need all those resources. It just basically means that those resources now could be reallocated to other projects, other initiatives around their organization. And of course, that means reduction both in utility and facility costs. Once we
Let me just interrupt quick. So this is really
Sure.
great because it's side by side, and you're certainly doing what looks to me to be a very detailed analysis of the current situation, the current hardware costs, even on down the list here, and then that's a wonderful side by side comparison. Just wanted to comment there. It looks great.
Phil, thank you. In fact, we've actually worked with a lot of our controllers and finance teams, and we make sure that we capture all the different things that they actually have to cut a check for. So, and this has got their approval because we actually do account for all those investments. And then the next big ticket is really looking at their software environment. So if you look at their organization, they probably are paying for license, whether it's for server, but also maybe development applications, maybe other products they're using from tools perspective, from backup to recovery, and then also looking at what they might be using for their clients for their desktop needs. So in this aspect, you can see that we're capturing, again, on the left-hand side, everything associated to their on-site current environment. And on the right, basically now we're saying that, okay, great, you know what? Not all those licenses need to come across because when you move toward Office 365, you don't need to pay for those, those licenses. It becomes part of the package. So another aspect of where they can save a lot of money because, again, they don't have to pay for those license fees. And then we start looking at migration. So we talked about the investment for a hardware, investment for software. The next thing we need to start looking at what the investment might be for, migrating for maintaining that, servers with the email accounts or web conferencing. So here we're actually putting, again, number of users, cost per mailbox, and gives us an indication for the investment. And this is where the controls love. Now we actually have capture all the information. Now we can give back to them a nice ROI calculation, looking at a 5-year overview, what it would look like when you look at from a capital expenditure to labor investment into operation expense, and you look at from a current on-premise versus moving to a Office 365. So this keeps the controllers really happy because not only they'll see a nice 5-year outlook, which most companies do 3 to 5 years outlook, but also is it great for companies to do an estimate why they should justify making this kind of move. And board of directors need to see that kind of ROI analysis. So it really keeps the finance people happy. But this is not about just a financial decision. This is about the business value and, more importantly, feasibility. So in this case, now we're going to start talking about why should they make this kind of investment. So in this way, we're asking them to, what are the typical workloads that their organization needs to focus on? So you can see on the top, we're capturing from email to web meetings to maybe invoicing, payroll, whatever is important in their organization. And on the left, we have the benefits. So for example, reducing IT costs. And what we ask the customer to do is kind of prioritize it from +3 to -3. So as we go across all these benefits associated to all those workloads, they're giving us what's high on their list by giving us what are the key numbers that associate to that workload. Now, this not only gives us a good indication what's high on their list, but if they score something low, it actually gives an indication what are the pain points, what are the challenges they're experiencing, why they actually scored that low. And this is where we can address some of those issues. And then next thing we walk the customer through is what I call the feasibility affinity analysis, where we keep the same workloads, but now we're asking specific things around those where they'll prefer everything to be in a centralized location to a decentralized. What are the specific service level agreements that they really need across those workloads? And this is more of a yes and no answer, but what it does, once we have captured both views, now we have a really nice 4-quadrant view, which a lot of people love to see, that says, why should I move certain activities to the cloud? Because, this is how they give us the information as far as what's high on the list. Now, notice through this process, earlier we captured the financial reason and justification why they should make this move. Now we give them a roadmap. Now this is something all customers need. They need to understand what's the roadmap and how should I do this. So I can actually, sit down with a client and say, if I was going to do this with your organization, this is the phase approach we'll put in play. And what we give back to clients so they don't look at Excel spreadsheet, we really give them a nice 7-page assessment guide that gives them an executive overview of the assessment, allows them to see what are the key factors and also case studies and other references. Clients like them, like their size and industry, make this kind of move. And then we give them a snapshot of their affinity analysis, so the roadmap of how they should migrate in a phase approach. And then we provide a financial ROI assessment, and then we talk about some of the key migrations and the next steps. So in this model, we kind of walk the customer through many different things, but at the end of the day, we give a complete summary of why Office 365 is a smart decision, what's the value they gain by making that decision, but also give them the justification from a financial point of view that it really makes it simple. So from a business people, they'll love this because now they get a roadmap, they get a financial overview, and then also they know that Microsoft is giving that complete service level agreement, so if something does go wrong, you've got a big corporation behind them that support them from first step all the way down to last step.
Excellent. And I think as an added benefit, you've kind of put out a roadmap not only for the sake of a particular solution, but the fact that now they have something they can go back to and say, and this is the things that are important to us, because you've already helped them pretty much prioritize their business.
Exactly. In fact, some of the clients that we walk through this assessment, they love it because, typically they have to allocate somebody within the organization to go do the research, put the summary together. With our methodology, you don't have to do the research. All we have to do is, participate in 1-hour session, walk through the, series of questions, and then we give them a complete assessment. And then, through that process, they really have a clear understanding. And most often, most companies, email, messaging is the step number one. But what we try to do is kind of look beyond that, because if you truly want to see the value within their organizations and really address the gaps we identify, they should really incorporate all those, steps within, a certain time frame. And that's where our assessment identifies and saying that these are the things that you should address if you really want to see the right productivity. And more importantly, they don't have to pay additional fees for it, because most often Microsoft will provide all this support and provides all the different things. So we also educate them what comes part of the package. So it's not about, just email. It's a lot more than that. And that's the thing that most companies, when they get started, they can say, wow, I didn't realize I get all the different functions and features, and we just make it easy for them to digest it in a very nice roadmap.
Well, that really looks great, Shahrouz. I appreciate that run-through. So let me ask you this. Are you and your company currently using Office 365 yourselves?
Well, yes, 100%. We actually were on the early adopters on the BPOS, the original release, and then we migrate to Office 365, and extremely pleased. Not only has a lot of great capability, but one of the things that I really love is that also allows us to share our sites externally with our clients. So yeah, I'm not only a huge fan of it, but also allows us to show more to our customers, because we use it avidly throughout our organization. So it makes it a lot easier for us to be able to show and demo it to our customers.
That sounds great. So do you have any case studies that you're willing to share? I know that you might not be able to share any customer names without their permission, but if you could give us an example of a customer, what their problem was, and maybe a specific example of how this solution was useful to them.
Yeah, I'm actually, there's two clients that comes up to mind. The first one was actually right here in California area, where we actually helped them. They had 4 remote locations, and most of their users were running on many different areas. Some they actually were using a combination of Hotmail to GoDaddy to very old, Exchange server. And what we're able to do is put them all in one consistent platform. 2, we actually introduced them to how they can use SharePoint using the team side to improve their collaboration between their payroll to their HR, even to their sales marketing. In past, marketing was sending a lot of large files, via email to different users. Now they can actually create a really nice team site to improve their collaboration. And we rolled out everybody over the weekend. We actually on Friday, they left at 5 o'clock, and we rolled out 50 users, 4 different locations. By Sunday morning, everybody was finished, and on Monday morning, we did a 2-hour session. They were up and running.
Excellent. Excellent.
So it was really smooth operation. The second one is, it's almost about the same environment. There were about a couple hundred users, but they were looking not only around using the messaging, but also be able to use Link. And they were coming from a Cisco using old Cisco VoIP phones, and we easily showed them how they can, put this infrastructure in play, get all their users up and running, and have a very solid way of doing, using Link to do webinars and be able to have conferences. And what it did is save them a lot of money, because a lot of different users were using GoToMeeting, they were using, WebEx, and when quickly we showed them that with one pricing, they get all these services, and the experience was really, really positive.
Excellent, excellent. Always good to hear those stories. And I'm experiencing that too. A number of companies who simply love the fact that they can just set up a meeting anytime, invite anyone, no additional cost. They have the infrastructure in place that's supporting it because it's already in the cloud, and it's just simply a part of the subscription. Yeah,
it's huge. As a matter of fact, it's just taken away from the people thinking, well, I'll fly over there, and say, well, why don't we just have a meeting and let me just launch this thing?
Exactly.
Huge saving.
I appreciate the fact that I could cancel my flight to come out and talk to you and do this interview in person. We can actually do this online in the cloud. So.
Well, the benefit was you could have had some sunshine.
Sunshine, yes. That would be nice. So where can we find out more information about Ezy Consulting and your ROI calculator and some of the tools you talked about?
So, our website, you can go to www.ezyconsulting.com, and our website you'll have access to our tools. And what I can do is just I'll provide the information where people can easily send us an email to Shahrouz@ezyconsulting.com.
That's easy, and that's easy for those listening here. EZY.
EZY Consulting, yeah. So
yes.
So Shahrouz at EZYconsulting.com. And what I like to do is we normally offer our assessment tool for about $499. What we like to do for all your audiences is to offer anybody who's interested to approach us. We'll definitely give them a 50% off our normal pricing. Plus, if they actually decide to, look at Office 365 and actually go to the next step and activate their account, not only will we be more than happy to credit their initial $250 toward any services, so essentially the assessment could be free, but also will help them with the initial migration of their 25 of their users and set up a team site and do a 2-hour session all for free.
Wow, very good. Well, that's an excellent solution and a great offer. I appreciate you being able to do that. That's great. Well, I really want to thank you very much for your time, Shahrouz Malekpour, and we really appreciate your feedback and the information, and you're definitely a cloud innovator. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate being with you, Kevin, and all of your audiences. Thank you.
All right, and we'll see you next time on TechNet Radio, Cloud Innovators.